What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports. I'm Sports Director Trayvon Miles.
And I'm Brandon Bosser. We've got you covered for the next half hour with wall-to-wall local sports coverage.
That's exactly right. Welcome on into another episode of DSI off of that amazing game number 5 we just saw. The Miami Heat somehow stave off elimination.
With Jimmy
and
Buckets.
They are alive. Yeah, Jimmy Buckets doing amazing things. They are alive for a Game 6 against the Los Angeles Lakers. But Brandon, welcome back.
Thank you, Trey.
You weren't here last week. Congratulations once again. While you were gone, there was a small amount of local news, but since we're already a month into the NFL season, we must check in with our regional teams.
Absolutely, a lot of news.
There was not a lack of news when it comes to the NFL this week. We'll begin with the Washington football team. Wednesday morning, when they announced that Kyle Allen would be their starting quarterback on Sunday against the Rams, 4 games into the young season, head coach Ron Rivera rolled the dice, benching second-year quarterback Dwayne Haskins.
Really is rolling the dice right here.
Yes, he is. Haskins was the first-round pick by the team just 18 months ago. He began the year with 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 1 fumble. But the most important stat is wins.
Absolutely.
And Washington has just won 1 month into the season.
That's right, 1 win, but they're still only half a game back in the NFC East, or the NFC least, you could say. So the veteran coach made the move to move from Haskins, at least temporarily. It was even reported that Haskins didn't take 1 snap in Wednesday morning's practice and will be a healthy scratch for this weekend's game. Rivera referenced the chance to still win the division as the reason that he made the change.
Unfortunately, we're 1-3. We got 4 divisional games coming up. 3 divisional games coming up, 4 conference games. And I just felt, based on the things that have gone on with Dwayne, based on his development and where he is, we're better off putting the ball in the hands of guys that know our system.
And Allen is certainly familiar with the staff system. The 24-year-old started 12 games last year for Rivera in Carolina. He finished with 17 touchdowns and 16 interceptions.
I'm not going to say I'm not surprised. I'm not going to say I'm surprised. I think for me, it's kind of like an everyday thing. Show up and be ready when your number's called. I think it's the name of the game in the NFL, especially for a guy like me who came into this league undrafted, who was 4th string to start, got limited reps in early camp, and you just kind of, when you get your opportunities, you just got to pounce on them and take advantage.
Now, Brandon, let me preface this by saying I am not the coach, nor have I ever been an NFL coach or ever will be an NFL coach, but I don't like this move for a number of reasons.
Okay.
First of all, 11 starts into Dwayne Haskins' career, he's demoted. Not only demoted, he's demoted to 3rd string. We've never seen something like that before. Rivera may be really trying to send a message, but I don't see how Haskins has any confidence to start for this team again after essentially being humiliated with a move like this.
I can see that, Trey. This is a surprise move to me only because Haskins was a first-round pick just last year. Yeah, exactly. A first-round pick on this quarterback, but it wasn't Rivera who used that first-round pick on him.
That's right.
This just seems like Washington is just giving up on the kid, but maybe not. I'm not going to say Haskins has earned the starting job with his performance so far this year. He's been below average in a lot of statistical categories this year. But apparently this goes deeper than just on-the-field play. NBC Sports Washington reporting that teammates were unhappy with Haskins following their loss to the Ravens last week because he was bragging about his stats. Interesting. He completed 70% of his passes, no touchdowns, bragging about them. But, you don't brag in a loss. Maturity issues have been the biggest concern with Haskins since he was drafted. Hopefully this benching will straighten him out because Rivera has said that he really hasn't given up on the kid.
Yeah, I honestly want to see as Julian Sador walks into the studio.
Hey, Jules.
Want to get Julian's take on this, but I did see Haskins shaking hands and smiling with the Ravens after the game. To me, as a competitor, that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Absolutely. Let's stay in the NFC East now. So far this season, fans of the Philadelphia Eagles have not had a chance to support their team or boo them when it's deserved. It's been deserved a lot this season in the confines of Lincoln Financial Field so far this season.
Yeah, but that all could be changing very soon. Brandon, maybe you could get to a game. WPVI's Corey Davis has the story.
Some sports fans can't wait to return to stadiums like the Link, while others have mixed feelings and believe city officials should take their time before deciding whether to allow the increase of crowd sizes.
I think some people are ready. I think it would be good for the team to have people supporting them, at the stadium.
The times of packed stadiums are a thing of the past for now, but starting Friday, a limited number of fans will be allowed back inside stadiums across Pennsylvania. This is because Governor Tom Wolf approved a plan to increase the size of indoor and outdoor gatherings to no more than 10 to 25% of total capacity. Eagles fans believe it'll help the team if the city goes through with that plan.
This way they got that extra man on the field, and hopefully it starts to help them win better.
I think our team gets a lot from our supporters and our fans. I think it drives them.
Fans want to see successful drives down the field, but not an increase in COVID cases due to large gatherings.
But we do sometimes have to think safety first.
That's why city leaders say they're taking until next week to decide on how to move forward.
I kind of see both sides of it. I personally would love to go to a game if it was, properly social distanced and you weren't on top of people and there was hand sanitizer and all of that good stuff.
Safety will play a key role in the city's decision.
I could definitely see the city's reservations with not, pulling the trigger on that too quickly, especially with cases kind of rising recently.
Attending games would be an added bonus during these uncertain times. But Eagles fans shouldn't head over to Pittsburgh for the game Sunday. There's no tailgating, and the limited number of seats inside are only for season ticket holders. Philadelphia leaders say they will make a final decision on Tuesday on whether to allow an increase in the sizes of events when it comes to indoor and outdoor gatherings. In South Philadelphia, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News.
Now, Trey, if only fans could have been at the Link when the Birds tied with those Cincinnati Bengals.
That would have been something.
They would have been hearing it that day.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone wants fans in the stands, so let's talk about if this is going to happen. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf has been under a lot of heat for months over his handling of the virus restrictions.
Yeah.
So this news isn't exactly surprising. The question then becomes, will city leaders approve allowing up to 7,500 people in the Link when Philly was an early hotspot for COVID in the first place? So I think city leaders will be hesitant to allow this, but the city's health department will be reviewing the new state order, and we should hear an announcement come Tuesday.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I like this idea with the city as emotional and as passionate, I guess that's what I can call it,
Very
about
passionate.
their team
That's
as
the word.
Philadelphia is. The team obviously feeds off the crowd, right? So
Yeah.
it's a disadvantage, which is what the NFL does not want, for certain teams to be without their home fans. And the Eagles, as much as it pains me to say this, is one of those teams who is being disadvantaged by the situation.
Yeah, one of those teams that does have that advantage is the Dallas Cowboys. Who,
I wouldn't happen to know anything about that team.
All right, then, let's move on.
Let's
go to the Baltimore Ravens. We got a surprise by Baltimore on Wednesday as well. Quarterback Lamar Jackson missed practice and showed up on the injury report for the first time this year. He missed practice with a knee injury. One head coach, John Harbaugh, said wasn't serious, but then he missed Thursday's practice as well with an illness.
Yeah,
Interesting.
rest assured, though, Ravens fans, Harbaugh said today in the presser on Zoom that Jackson will be on the field this weekend, although he was ruled questionable in the injury report. Interesting. Also interesting, third-round rookie Brandon Matabuke is expected to make his debut after suffering a leg injury late in camp. The Ravens are 3-1, good for a tie for second in the AFC North. The Browns also 3-1, and the Steelers are 3-0. Brandon,
those
it felt
Steelers.
like a guarantee after what we saw last year that the Ravens will win this division, but is this division as good as advertised early on?
Well, I think the Steelers are the only team that the Ravens have to sweat at this point,
Wow.
honestly. Baker and the Browns have started well. They're 3-1. We've seen the Browns start well in past years, a few years back, but they faded down the stretch. Their pass defense needs a lot of work, so I'm not too concerned about them. Pittsburgh allowing just 2.7 yards per attempt on the ground, and they're ranked 5th in points allowed per game so far. And they have Big Ben back under center.
Yes, they
That's
do.
a big deal for the Steelers. So I still think Baltimore is the class of the AFC North. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you got to take a couple things into consideration. I think after what we saw last year and the Ravens winning, 5 14 straight games or 12 straight games. We just thought head and shoulders that they would be above the Steelers, but I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to see that first matchup between Baltimore and Pittsburgh and see
yeah,
if it's
Trey.
as advertised.
That's
it
right.
won't be like we've seen before, like the big-time defensive matchups. I think this time around we see the offenses and what this rivalry is turning into, maybe a little bit more points. So,
that's right. We've got Baltimore is the 5th-ranked defense in the NFL, I believe, Pittsburgh's the 5th-ranked, and Baltimore's the 4th-ranked defense in the NFL. So it should be a great battle out there.
But both teams this year have explosive offenses.
Yes.
And Big Ben's back, and of course Lamar is going to be Lamar. So
absolutely.
I think that matchup should be great. Good thing they don't play in the NFC East. It'd be wrapped up already, right?
That's right, Trey. We ain't talking about them anymore.
That's going to do it for the A block. We're taking a quick commercial break. When we come back, PYN stand up. Despite a number of injuries, one former Parkside Ram is still standing. That and more when the Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
My name is Mike Judy, head coach at Smyrna High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.